is The Spotlight. I'm Kevin Perry, your host for the show, and we have a very exciting show planned for you because this is a show that celebrates 20 years of musical theater excellence. With us today is drama theater director extraordinaire, Mr. Patrick Madden. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
And he has three of his fantastic students from this summer's musical, Simone, Journey, and Keith. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
It is a pleasure to have you back. We're just going to have a wonderful conversation because there's something really special about this summer's musical theater project. Why don't you tell us, Mr. Madden?
Well, as you know, the summer musical theater project that we do through the school system was started by you and I 20 years ago, and this is our 20th anniversary. So the first show that we did 20 years ago, as you remember, was...
Bye Bye Birdie.
That's right. And now, 20 years later, we're doing it again for our 20th anniversary. And what's really special about this show, in addition to these great performers beside me here, we're bringing back some alumni who were in the original Bye Bye Birdie 20 years ago with us. In fact, Renee Williams, who played Mama in the production 20 years ago, is back playing her same role from 20 years ago. So the alumni are playing most of the adult roles, and the teens are playing the teenage roles.
Before we get into discussing Bye Bye Birdie and the arts in general,
sure.
Please go on and tell our viewing audience where they can find tickets because these shows are going to sell out really quick.
Well, you can get tickets all over town. In Fort Pierce, you can get them at Joy's Ice Cream. In Port St. Lucie, you can get them at Jay's Jewelry in St. Lucie West. Perkins on US 1 in Port St. Lucie. The Tin Fish on Port St. Lucie Boulevard. Joy's Ice Cream across from Centennial High School out on Gatlin, off of Gatlin and Darwin Boulevard. Honey Baked Ham in Stewart, and the Port St. Lucie High School office.
And how many shows are we doing in those show dates?
We are doing 7 shows. This isn't like our normal, we just completed The Little Mermaid, and we ran over 10 shows. It was a crazy run, 2-weekend run. This is 7.
The kids are agreeing with the young people are agreeing with us.
Yeah. This is 7 shows. Wednesday through Sunday. We run Wednesday, June 15th, Thursday, June 16th, Friday, June 17th at 7:30, the 18th, which is a Saturday, at 2 and 7:30, and the 19th at 2 and 7.
And for all of that information, don't hesitate just to call Port St. Lucie High School, and they'll be more than happy to share that information with you. I was looking at the young people when we talked about how crazy those 10, 12 shows over 2 weeks are, but that's just like being on Broadway.
That's true.
So how do you relate what you're teaching your students to those kinds of opportunities that they may have in the future?
Well, just the scheduling alone. I mean, the kids go to school.
All day?
All day.
From about 6:30 in the morning until about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
And I would say, well, I know Simone this week, she's usually at practice 4 days a week, 3 hours a day. So, along with me, we're the two people that are usually there for, all the horrendous schedule. And people always say, how do you get the kids so ready to go? And that's really what I say. We put in the time to practice. Plus, we have such a great staff of people who are putting the kids through their paces.
Tell me this. You have been, as I like to refer to you, the drama director extraordinaire here in Port St. Lucie for 27 years. Seeing all that you've seen and knowing all that you know and all that you've also experienced, why is drama, musical theater, the more proper term, are the arts important to a young person's success?
Well, it gives them self-esteem. It puts people on a schedule. Most of the kids from the arts, as you know, because you've talked to kids that have gone to college, who have come from our programs, they're used to going to school all day, working a job, doing play practice. It really helps with your time management. It helps with your interpersonal skills, interviewing for a job, getting up in front of people and speaking. Whether or not they're going into the arts or not, it's helping them exponentially.
Okay, Simone, this is your first time on the spotlight. Welcome. We hope it's not your last because I've seen you in rehearsal and I can guarantee that our viewing audience will love you when they see you in the lead role in Bye Bye Birdie. Just tell us briefly what school you attend, grade you're in, that kind of thing.
Well, I go to Port St. Lucie High School. I'm a sophomore. Port St. Lucie High School, I just transferred there from Treasure Coast to do these shows, of course, because I started in Seussical, and I did Seussical, Little Mermaid, and then this is my show I'm doing now.
Journey?
I go to Port St. Lucie High School. I'm a sophomore, and this will be my third show, actually. My first show was Seussical, just as Simone, and then I played Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid, and now I'm going to be playing Conrad Birdie in Bye Bye Birdie.
Keith?
Well, I go to Port St. Lucie High School as well. I'm a junior. This is going to be my 6th show. My first leading role was in Seussical as the bass Wickersham brother, then Sebastian in The Little Mermaid, and now this is my first realistic role as Albert Peterson in Bye Bye Birdie.
And you were amazing in The Little Mermaid.
Thank you.
So, young people, I don't want to call you kids, students, tell us about this rehearsal process, the audition process, and the time commitment, and just jump in, anyone.
Well, it's a very rigorous schedule. You know, we go straight, like you said, we have school in the morning, and then I do football as well. So I go straight from school to football practice. I have to go home really quick and take a really quick shower, and then go straight back to rehearsals.
Okay, Journey, I'm going to stop you. We have a football player that's in musical theater.
We do.
Yeah.
But you know, I will say this to you, and I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this. People always have said to me, how do you get so many guys involved
Oh, we were going to go there.
in theater at Port St. Lucie High School? And it goes back to the days of John Carty, which was the second year at Port St. Lucie High School. We were doing Grease and Guys and Dolls. And when you get buy-in from the football coach, we always had guys in the shows. And then when they saw how good they were, people like to be part of a winning team.
Of course.
And
be it football, be it band,
that's why it doesn't matter. People like to be part of a winning team. And so I give a lot of credit, and we laugh about it, but I give a lot of credit to John Carty, who's now retired, but was in our school system for a long time, and was our football coach.
Journey, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but as a person that's taught school for 31 years, I've also had to teach choir. And I remember one of my supervisors telling me, if you really want to get some boys that could sing, go to the football team. They're really, really talented. But going back to you, Journey, go ahead.
Oh, but as I was saying, I go straight from football practice to rehearsals from 6 to 9. I get home, I do my homework, and then it's the same old schedule weekly.
Weekly, wow.
And at the beginning of school, he had conditioning in the morning, so he would get there. What time did you get to school?
5:30, and I'd work out from 6 to 7, and then go to school.
Wow. Long day. And you guys are doing extremely well academically too, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Honors class. Is anybody dual enroll yet? No?
I am.
Okay, yeah.
I'm doing some in the summer.
Okay.
And I'm in IB right now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, strong schedules. But we have found that those students that participate in the arts do extremely well academically too.
They do.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I've said this on your show on other occasions, but if you can get your kids involved in anything, be it the arts or sports, whatever, they need to be involved in school. It's going to help them academically.
If we believe that the arts are an essential ingredient to a student's success, what must we as patrons, as citizens of a community do to help sustain those arts?
By showing up, supporting the kids, telling them good job. I mean, everybody likes appreciation. And what's really been funny with The Little Mermaid, for example, 12,000 people between that show and the show right before it saw our show. So I'm sure Journey would tell you, or Keith, were you recognized after The Little Mermaid?
Oh, yes.
A lot of people came up to us.
Yes, a lot of people. Even before as well.
And did those people, they weren't parents of kids at school, they were people from the community, correct?
Correct.
And what kind of things did they say to you?
Like, oh, you're so wonderful. You were my favorite in the show. I loved your part. You were so funny. Like, it's just good to have the feedback from the community, being able to just have them embrace your talent. It's just a wonderful feeling.
That's awesome. Simone, tell us about your character.
Well, Rose Alvarez, she's in love with Albert Peterson, and in the beginning of the show, you can tell that he takes advantage of her, and you can tell that she wants more from him. She wants like love, she wants affection, she wants to be able to be his partner, and after a while, she gets fed up with the fact that she can't push him to love her, and she can't be, what's the word? Like, really herself. She feels as though Albert takes advantage of her. She feels as though Albert doesn't appreciate her. And so she, after a while, is herself. She embraces herself. She says, I'm Spanish Rose, which is one of my songs that I sing, and it helps her. It helps her. It shows Albert that you can't push her around, you can't take advantage of her, that she is who she is, and
She becomes a very strong woman in her
does.
own right. Journey, tell us about your character.
Well, Conrad Birdie, he is the face of pop culture at the time, and
So he's sort of like
Elvis.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yes, and all the girls love him, of course. But what people don't realize is that his true personality is not what they expect, and you kind of realize that throughout the show, and it's a really fun part.
Keith, tell us about your role.
Well, I play Albert J. Peterson, a handsome middle-aged man, president of
We caught that, Keith.
president of Almelu Music Corporation, and he has Rose as his secretary, and he loves Rose, but he has a hard time expressing himself between the stress between managing Conrad and sensitive situations with his mother. So at the end of the story, or by around the end of the story, he realizes what Rose is really worth to him.
Now, this is not your first role. This is not the first musical that you've been a part of. This is not the first musical that you have seen. I always like to ask this question. What is your favorite musical, and tell us why? Mr. Madden, we're going to start with you this time because I've never asked you that question.
I think last time I told you the best performance I thought I've ever seen. I would say, certainly in my top three would have to be the original production of Les Mis.
And tell us why.
Because I didn't know the story before I went.
Okay.
And I was just overcome with emotion at the story. Well, as you know, I don't show a lot of emotion. So,
You have emotions, Mr.
I do, Mr. Perry. I know that's crazy. But no, that would definitely be in my top three.
Okay. Simone?
I'd have to say probably Chicago. That show is it's fun to watch. Like, you use all the dancing, all the pop and the pizzazz in it. It's just a lot. It seems like a really
Jazz
fun show
hands,
to
right? Journey, it's your turn.
I'd have to say Disney's production of Newsies.
Okay.
I love the tap. I love the songs. It's a very upbeat show, and I just love the story of it overall.
Okay. And Keith?
My favorite has to be Motown. Just growing up listening to the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, just all like the Motown greats, and being able to know the soundtrack. It's just such an upbeat show, and it keeps you on your toes the whole entire time.
My favorite is Hairspray. I love the energy and enthusiasm, but I also love the backstory to Hairspray and what was going on at that time. Students, how exciting is it for you to be on stage after all of this hard work that you put in, the countless hours in auditions, then rehearsals, and then blocking and staging and dancing, and how exciting? Simone?
It's really exciting because, like you said, you go through all of that, all the times and everything that you've been through, and then an audience gets to see it. They get to see what you've been working on for so long, how hard you've been working, and it shows when you're on stage and you really sell it.
Keith, this is your 6th show. Why do you continue to come back, knowing the grueling schedule that you have with classes? Why do you continue to come back to musical theater?
Well, between just being able to express myself, it's also the people. The people in theater, they're very supportive, they're very kind, they always embrace you with open arms. And the thing I like about this show being the 20th anniversary is that the alumni come back, and I feel that the alumni are they're a positive influence on the students here. So I feel like it's just a all-around circle of positive. energy.
Journey, what is your most memorable performance and why?
My most memorable performance, I'd have to say the preview night actually of Little Mermaid, because I made a big huge mistake that night.
Can't forget that.
Yes, no, I can't. And I missed my cue, and it was a very big cue, and it was very awkward walking on stage after missing that cue. And that's a very memorable experience for me because I learned a lesson that day. I did. I learned a very big lesson.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great time talking to Mr. Madden and the students that are starring in this year's 20th anniversary production of Bye Bye Birdie, part of the St. Lucie County Musical Theater Project. That was Journey that we were just talking to about his most memorable performance. Let's take a break right now and watch Journey as Conrad Birdie singing One Last Kiss.
Oh, one last kiss, oh, give me one last kiss. It never felt like this, no, never felt like this. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss. Oh, one more time, oh, baby, one more time. It really is sublime, oh, honey, so sublime. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss. Baby, give me one last kiss. Baby, give me one last kiss. Oh, one last kiss. Oh, give me one last kiss. It never felt like this. No, never felt like this. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss. You know I need your love. Oh, 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 give me one last kiss.
Okay, Mr. Madden, we're back. Journey, excellent job. Audience, we hope that you take some time to go see these 7 shows
Yes.
of Bye Bye Birdie starting on June 15th. Am I right?
Through the 19th.
Through the 19th at Port St. Lucie High School. For more information about times and tickets, please take a minute to call Port St. Lucie High School. We'd love to see you in the audience to view these wonderful young people performing musical theater, 20th anniversary of Bye Bye Birdie. Mr. Madden, you've been teaching musical theater, drama, everything that goes along with theater production for 27 years here at Port St. Lucie High School. You have some students that are doing some outstanding things. Tell us a little bit about your legacy.
Well, we have had many students go on and be working actors and actresses, working backstage at different parks. And what's really nice is, if I go to Orlando, I mean, I have tons of students working at Universal Studios. From the Mardi Gras parade to digital production. I have one student who is between my class and film TV production. He is an editor for Universal, and he does all the promo spots for Universal Halloween Horror Nights and all the new King Kong ride. So, I mean, there's someone who was working backstage and now has brought that career to Universal Studios. Many characters at Disney World have come from my program. Jay Garcia, who has toured, who was in the original Bye Bye Birdie and played the part,
Conrad Birdie.
Right, played Conrad Birdie 20 years ago, has been all over the United States touring in Avenue Q and Altar Boys. Tons of students in musical theater programs throughout the United States. It's crazy how many people from our program, the summer program at Port St. Lucie High School, have gone on to do great things.
So, time is always running out on us. We may need to make this show an hour long so that we can get it all in. Tell us a little bit more about, Mr. Madden, about Bye Bye Birdie and this production.
This production of Bye Bye Birdie, you know, I was saying this to you the other night when you stopped by to watch a little of the rehearsal. Bye Bye Birdie was, up until just a few years ago, the most produced high school musical. Now it's become, you know, with the Little Mermaid and Beauty, you know, it's not as popular, but it's still in the top 20.
Okay.
But for years, when I was in high school, it was the #1 produced musical. It's very similar in feel to Grease.
Very much.
With the music. So when the kids were telling me, we want to do Grease, we want to do Grease, to me, this is certainly in the same vein.
Correct.
But with Bye Bye Birdie, it's a great show, and I think we've kind of come full circle from where we started 20 years ago, when we had no money, when we were scrounging for costumes.
Correct.
And
T-shirts with costumes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing that I would say to you is, there was one performance of Bye Bye Birdie. Now we draw 12,000 people, but that wasn't always the case.
No.
And we, especially in the summer, with so many people being out of town, there was one performance of Bye Bye Birdie, which was our first Saturday matinee that we ever did. I think we had more people in the show than in the audience.
Probably. I want to ask a question to all of my fantastic star students today. Being in musical theater, everything that happens on stage actually kind of follows what's happening in the world or what's happening in life. Tell me, what is it that you have learned from being in musical theater, from playing the roles that you play, how it may relate to what you're dealing with, just the entire experience? What is it that you have learned?
Well, I've learned to gain a lot of self-esteem. I've learned to work with teams and a lot of teamwork, and it really contrasts with the real world, and just being a part of it, it really helps you in life.
Okay.
It also helps with public speaking, being able to be on stage and just say your lines, sing, do your role. It helps with just regular, PowerPoint presentations in class or something as simple as that.
Okay. Any else, Keith?
I feel like it brightens your personality, and it definitely helps you in life between job interviews and being able to just to outshine the average person. I feel like that's an amazing feeling.
Mr. Matt,
Yes.
kind of the same question for you. After doing this for as long as you have, still committed to doing it for 27 more years, so we have some fantastic shows that we'll
I
be
didn't
able to
say
see.
27 more years.
Okay, I was wishing, Mr.
At least a
Madden.
few. At
Okay.
least a few.
What is it that you hope your students learn?
Well, for example, let me use Simone.
Okay.
Simone was in the chorus of Bye Bye Birdie. She was in the chorus of Suzuko. She was in the chorus of The Little Mermaid. But when she came into Bye Bye Birdie auditions, because of where she had started,
She was a
and
different Simone.
she was a different Simone, and she came, and I'll tell you, when she tried out for her part that she eventually got in Bye Bye Birdie, the lead, she came in there. No one else was getting that part.
There's something about...
She was so prepared. She was in the zone. She had studied. She had worked for that part. And I'm going to tell you, there was Simone and there was everybody else.
Okay. There's something about seeing the evolution of students.
That's what occurs. Journey, he didn't get involved, although, it's cool that he played football. He really got involved through the girl he was dating at the time. And
That'll do it too, Journey.
Right,
That'll
he
do it
happened to be at play practice. And, from where he started to now, it's incredible. And like he was saying with his story from The Little Mermaid, it's educational theater. People come thinking, now after all these years, you are going to get a great show. But the kids are still learning. I'm still learning what works in publicity, what works to get the kids motivated. You're still always learning.
You told us about the evolution of Simone and
Yes.
Journey. Talk to us about Keith.
Keith is fantastic, and I think we might have talked a little bit about this the last time, but I used to tell Keith, you need to try out for the shows, and he didn't seem very interested. And I said, can you get a ride after school? He said, well, maybe if you talk to my dad. And I called his dad, and we had a good conversation. And, his family's been so supportive of his time in drama and how he's evolved. I mean, he's a completely different person, too, from where he
Comedic
started.
timing out of this
Shy,
world.
Yeah, and such a stage presence.
Yes.
If you saw him
I did.
at Sebastian the Crab, the Under the Sea number every night stopped the show.
Yeah. It's something amazing. Of course, we both saw Kinky Boots and how
Right.
the show was stopped every night for one number, and you have to wait to go on.
And what else is funny about Keith is when he goes to see a show like Motown, or we go to the Crowd Center, we see the shows, he's a great audience member too. He's very supportive of everybody, and sometimes I'll even have to say, tone it down a little, Keith. He really gets into it.
Okay. You guys went to New York this past December.
I don't think any of these,
No.
these
None of
us
people
have.
went,
Okay.
but they are going.
Yes.
They're all, two of them are going this year.
Yeah.
But you know, this New York trip was incredible because all of the students saw Hamilton.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. Mr. Jerome, who's our executive producer, and I were supposed to be on that trip, and we didn't get to see it. Mr.
You know, I was reading an article in the New York Post yesterday about tickets to Hamilton because the Tony Award nominations
16
just came out.
nominations. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the most ever. The
Yeah,
most ever.
yeah.
And the cheapest seat into Hamilton, the scalpers are getting $8,000 a seat.
Wow.
And I got them before it became a big hit, but we got orchestra seats for $142. And I don't know if I told you this, but the night we saw Hamilton, which was a Saturday night on Broadway right after it opened, Dr. Oz was there, Jaden Smith was there,
Wow.
Michael Chiklis was there. It was really incredible. It was those kids, that's something that they will remember the rest of their lives.
Let's talk about what's next for you. I know you have a few years, but still teaching. So what's next in that vein that you want to do that maybe you haven't done with students?
Well, we want to continue doing our teaching, which we go to the elementary schools and we teach and bring our program to other schools. I think just maintaining what we do. I mean, the fact that we go to Broadway and see at least 10 Broadway shows in a week, and the opportunities like Simone. She loves Chicago. She said, could we please see Chicago on Broadway? Well, I'm making that happen for Simone, and she's going to go to Broadway and see that show. You know, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me motivated.
To my wonderful STAR students, if you could say something to a parent to entice them quickly to make sure that their students participate in the arts, what would you say? 15 seconds.
It's a long 15 seconds.
Well, I would tell them that it really gets their kid involved, and it really keeps their kid. It gives their kid a schedule that they have to follow, and it really disciplines them. And I feel that if they join it, it'll really bring out their true personality in them.
It's also really fun if you want your child to go out and have fun and go out and, like you said, be yourself. It's a good place to start.
Okay.
And if you're kind of shy and if you don't have any friends or if you're not very social, being in that department can really bring you out of your shell and open new doors for you.
Mr. Madden, when will you know that you are a success?
I think we already have been. I think we already have been a success. You know you're a success when you see your students doing such incredible work. Or now, when the students leave and I go to UCF and I see a student performing in a show, a Tyler Beauregard starring in Hair at UCF, I mean, it's an incredible feeling as an educator to see your kids succeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Mr. Madden, Simone, Journey, and Keith for sharing with us here on The Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts. Bye Bye Birdie, the 20th anniversary edition of that musical at Port St. Lucie High School, June 15th through June 19th. 7 fantastic shows. We guarantee you will think that you are actually in New York on Broadway. You don't want to miss these fantastic students and their wonderful teacher, everything that's happening with Bye Bye Birdie. We hope to see you there. Thank you for joining us here on this edition of The Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts.